Hello viewers, welcome to our YouTube channel BAETTA.Bangladesh to get the latest videos on learning English, IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, GMAT, SAT, ELT, TESOL and linguistics. This is Sami Alert, Chairman IELTS and Head of Linguistics BAETTA Bangladesh, a more than 20 years experience IELTS trainer home and abroad and IELTS 8.5 band scorer with our IELTS 8 Plus preparation training course part 5 IELTS speaking module. This is IELTS speaking module part 2 specialized lecture 1. As a part of our online and on-ground IELTS expertise training and teaching program, this lecture is on detailed descriptions of IELTS speaking part 2. In this video, I will also discuss major aspects, core issues, features and traits of IELTS speaking module part 2. As well as I will also talk how examiner offers cue card to a candidate and how candidate should approach in this part of IELTS speaking test. So this video is very important and helpful for all kinds of IELTS candidates. Learn English, buy English, keep watching my English medium lecture videos to acquire English like a native. I maintain international standard in teaching English and IELTS. Let's get started. Introduction. IELTS speaking part 2 is the most vital part in the realm and arena of IELTS test, where a candidate can succeed easily if he or she can perform technically and tactfully. IELTS speaking is an oral test takes place between a candidate and an examiner. It's the face-to-face interview. In IELTS speaking test, you will have only one examiner who may be a native or a non-native expert. Today, I am going to focus on the second part of the test in details, which lasts between 3 to 4 minutes only. Part 2 of IELTS speaking test is an individual long turn. IELTS speaking module part 2 is known as individual long turn or cue card or task card presentation. The speaking test is the same for both IELTS academic and IELTS general training, and it always involves a face-to-face interview with a certified IELTS examiner, regardless of whether you take the paper-based test PBT or computer-based version of the test CDT. In the IELTS speaking part 2, you will be given a topic by the examiner and you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. The topic will be one that the examiner chooses and you can't change it. Now let's see the duration of speaking part 2. How long is our speaking part 2? You will have to talk for 1 to 2 minutes and then the examiner will ask you 1 or 2 rounding of questions on the same topic. Our speaking part 2 takes 3 to 4 minutes in total. Now, I will be talking detailed description of our speaking test part 2. Let's begin. Our speaking part 2, individual long turn, cue card or task card presentation. Our speaking part 2 is on presenting a cue card or task card, where the candidate is provided with a cue card as stimuli to promote. Candidate is also provided with a sheet of paper and a pencil for taking a draft. He or she is allowed only 1 minute for preparation by thinking and noting and 1 to 2 minutes for speaking on the task card. The question card or cue card topic is followed by 2 or 3 WH questions, usually start with what, where, when, why, how, etc. and 1 or 2 stimuli with instructions and commands. You will have exactly 1 minute to prepare and make notes before you speak. The examiner will use a timer and will tell you when your time is up. The examiner will tell you when to start your talk and will remind you that they will stop after 2 minutes. At the end of the presentation, examiner asks 1 or 2 questions to round up the long term. Now, I will discuss how an examiner offers a cue card to a candidate. Let's go. In this part, I'm gonna discuss how an examiner offers a cue card to a candidate. Step 1. Example of a question card or cue card or task card to be presented to candidate. Suppose the cue card topic is, I quote, a present you have received recently, unquote, and the follow-up questions and stimuli are bullet mark question 1, what's it? Bullet mark question 2, who has sent you it? Bullet mark question 3, how does it look like? Bullet mark stimuli as give a description of the present and explain why the gift is special for you. Usually and generally, the examiner is found to offer a cue card to his or her candidate as follows. The examiner will say, I quote, now I am going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 or 2 minutes. Before you talk, you will have 1 minute to think about and you are going to say on the topic. You can make some notes if you wish. Do you understand? Here is some paper and a pencil for making notes. And where is your topic? Please don't write anything on the booklet. I'd like you to describe a gift or present somebody has presented you. Okay? You have 1 or 2 minutes for this. So don't worry to stop you and your time will automatically finish. Could you start speaking now, please? Stop started. Unquote. Step 2. Rounding off questions on cue card. After 2 minutes sharp, the examiner attempts to complete speaking part 2 by asking 1 or 2 rounding up questions on the cue card, like question 1, I quote, and is that the person presents you gift often? Unquote. Question 2, I quote, list some other gifts you received like it, unquote. Step 3, the end of speaking part 2. After 1 or 2 rounding up questions on cue card, examiner ends speaking part 2 by switching off his or her stopwatch. Then he or she asks the candidate to return back the booklet, pencil and paper as follows. I quote, could I have the booklet, pencil and paper back, please? Thank you. Unquote. And in this way, the examiner completes IELTS speaking test part 2 before moving to IELTS speaking test part 3. Here are 2 important aspects to remember that number 1, the whole test will be recorded by an audio recorder that will be used as speaking test exam script to assess candidate score by a second examiner, as well as storing the candidate's performance for the future. Number 2, the paper on which the candidate notes and drafts before speaking will be crushed and destroyed permanently just after the exam finished. Now, I will discuss how candidates should present a cue card or task card in our speaking part 2 for securing a good score. Let's move. Candidate step 1. Think and note before to start your speaking cue card. Candidates must use each and every second properly in our speaking part 2 for it lasts only 3 to 4 minutes but separately bears 3 score out of 9. So each moment here is very important for securing a good score. Candidate step 2. How do you start a speaking cue card? You shouldn't present as it looks like that you have memorized something what you are reciting now. It will make you run out your thought and get you stuck your fluency. Try to answer the given questions and stimuli, maintaining order and sequence. Try to make answers of the first 3 questions or stimuli within 2 to 3 complete, effective and grammatically correct sentences from your own idea and thought. Then you should approach to explain the topic in detail step by step with connectivity and coherence. Now, let's see what are expected by the examiner from the candidate in part 2 of our speaking test. Always keep in your mind the following 4 scales and criteria used in our speaking scoring. Number 1, fluency and coherence in presentation. Number 2, lexical resource and standard of vocabulary. Number 3, pronunciation and accentuation accuracy. Number 4, grammatical range and syntactic accuracy. Try to fulfill the expectancy of the examiner by fulfilling the above 4 criteria for bettering your speaking score. What happens if you don't speak for 2 minutes in a speaking test part 2? So many candidates frequently ask me about what happens if he or she can't speak for 2 minutes or is able to speak more than 2 minutes. In this regard, remember that in us speaking for a full 2 minutes will enable your examiner to collect evidence on not only your fluency and coherence but also the other criteria as well. If you speak for shorter than a minute, you will not have provided adequate evidence for your assessor to give you a fair score on your performance. On the other hand, if you try to continue your speaking after 2 minutes, you should remember just after 2 minutes sharp, examiner will stop you by an interruption. Viewers, in my next video, I will tell you about how to get a band 9 score in our speaking test part 2 with effective tools, techniques and grand clues. To get update videos, please subscribe BAETTA Bangladesh channel and stay connected with us. Thank you.